Hello, folks. Welcome, one and all, to another session of Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today, we have 3 stories to share with you. Buhari tells APC governors to give him time to decide on 2019. Kachuku says fuel scarcity can't end soon. And later on, Nigerians express outrage over Dapchi girls' abduction. I'll be hanging out with a returning Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Jide, when next you going? Broadcast it. So some of us will answer less questions. Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
We have Ishmael Omikpedo. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Bola Olajuwon.
Thank you.
He always gives me hope by his side. All right, then, we'll hit the road. Just stay. All right, then, the late Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, let me quote him, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions," end quote. The nearest to the original meaning of the whole quote, in my carnal interpretation, is this: President Muhammadu Buhari is only as good as what he wants Nigeria to be. So ahead of 2019 general elections, the #1 citizen has asked APC governors who went visiting his Aso Rock residence to allow him ample time to consider their prodding to seek re-election. Good thinking, Jide. And gentlemen, in writing my notes on this subject matter, I had to go into the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. So many of the laws to share here, but hear this. Law 38 says, think as you like, but behave like others.
Yes, because in the end, it will enable you to catch even your enemy by surprise. If you read that book from beginning to the end, you will see it looks like something put together by a tested war general. So you have to know the best way to deal with people.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the best ways to deal with people is to keep them guessing. Keep them guessing about your next line of action. By the time they realize, by the time they are planning a reaction to your own action, it may be too late.
Ishmael, Law 35 says, master the art of timing. Does it make sense to you?
Well, it does. It does, because ordinarily a lot of Nigerians would have expected the president to have said in categorical terms by now whether he was going to run or not. And don't forget that these APC governors, even though the identities of the members of the group kept changing, you know, sometimes Okorocha will not be among them, sometimes he will be among them, you know, like that, you know. And I also do not think these governors too have the support of their other colleagues. Don't forget there are 24 of them. And out of the 24 of them, about 6 or 8 have been consistent in pushing this agenda.
Yeah.
Come around, come around. And you see, I think one thing about Buhari is that, and I think it's one of the good characteristics of a leader, unpredictability. You can't predict him. And I just pray and hope that at the time he will make the decision, it will not be too late for either him or the party.
Okay. Bola, law #1 in the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is simply this: never outshine the Oga.
You see,
The Oga at the top.
it's a normal thing not to do. Never outshine your boss. But you see, if you look at what is obtainable now, I'm not a politician, and I don't want to put myself in their shoes in respect of the way they think. Naturally, nobody will expect the president to come up and say, yes,
I will run
with the situation at hand. You see, give it to him. Aside the question, of the hardship in the country, specifically financial issue, the man has really tried. But with what is coming up in the country now, if the president should say...
Well, I was going to say, don't use bedroom voice, speak up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, if the president should now come out, people will start saying that the man is not sensitive. Look at the killings all over the place. Benue, Zamfara, Taraba. And look at what happened in Yobe. It's quite unfortunate for him. I pity him. But as they will say, they said, look, uneasy lies, the head that wears the crown.
Yeah.
That is the man's predicament.
Is there any such thing as the right time to declare in this instance?
Yes.
Okay.
There has to be. Sometimes the best time, in my view, to declare is when your popularity is on the high. If you declare at a time when people are very angry with you, the backlash, the blowback, you are not going to like the blowback. So I think that the president, just as you said, is looking at the issue of timing. It's just like us as journalists. Some stories, you look at the timeliness of some stories before
going to town.
Yes, before going to town with it. If you don't get the timing right, it may not have the kind of impact that you expect. Sometimes when people tell me, oh, why now? Why didn't you people report the killings in Bachama as well as it happened in Benue? Many of them do not know that that same day, people were being killed by Boko Haram in the hometown of the governor of Adamawa State, Mubi. Okay. So newspapers reported the killings the same day. And Boko Haram killed close to 50 people inside the mosque. There is no way it won't get more attention than the killings by headsmen, partly because the hometown of the governor and all that. Then Boko Haram, they have a big name when it comes to killing people. So the timing of a story can actually ensure that it doesn't get the kind of attention that you would expect. So the president, at this time, just as Bola said, he has to look at the right time. Maybe when something significant that the government has done, maybe when the government has done something really significant, Nigerians are happy.
He goes with the flow.
Yes, he just says, okay, gentlemen, I want to declare at this time. And then secondly, he would want to look at his state of health. I've said it repeatedly that is what will determine whether he will go for a second time. And I think his spokesman, Femi Adesina, too, said that recently, that it is the president's state of health that will determine whether he will go for a second time. Yeah. This is a honest man. If he thinks that his body cannot carry the burden of running Nigeria for another 4 years, the Buhari that I know will not go into the race. Remember, he said some time ago that he wished that he had won the election
40 years ago.
So that's to tell you, and he has some regrets. In fact, he was saying that at one point he felt like running away because the scale of the problem that he has found, Nigeria was a lot better when he was a military president. So the scale of the problem that he has had to deal with and the changing nature of our country and its people means that Buhari has come, in my view, at an extremely difficult time. At this time, look, you have to do extremely well to impress Nigerians.
And Ishmael, if they are progressive, underlined progressive governors, you expected them to have done something different. Also play a waiting game. Go feel the pulses of the people. I'm just thinking aloud.
Well, you are right. But you see, the truth about it is that most of these governors prodding Buhari to run are doing so for their own selfish interests. That's the truth about it. Because if you take a census of those in the thing, apart from Okorocha, all of them are first-time governors. Again, apart from Okorocha, including Okorocha now, virtually all of them have issues in their various states. I take Kogi, for instance. I was reading in the papers today that the national leader of the party, whom the president gave a marching order to see to the reconciliation of warring members of the group, complained bitterly about the role the APC national chairman is playing. Now, Kogi has been in crisis, but since the beginning of the administration. As the national chairman, you never made any attempt, concrete, to resolve the crisis. Why now that somebody has been given an assignment to unite and reconcile party members, you now rush to inaugurate a parallel ESCO? What are you, it is either that you are not interested in the party retaining power, or you want to frustrate the work of Asiwaju. And I feel the pain of Asiwaju because honestly speaking, even before now, a lot of us knew that the tax he was given is a daunting one. Yeah. Daunting one, you know. And for the man to have moved first to the secretariat of the party to discuss with the party chairman and other party leaders shows that he has a sincerity of purpose. But for the party chairman now to go behind, and if you check most of the states, they have this crisis. The national secretariat of the party contributed. I give Kaduna, for instance. The party constitution is very clear. If a position is vacant, the deputy takes over. In Kaduna presently, the secretariat that was demolished by the governor, that is the secretariat being run by the acting chairman. That is the former deputy to Bantex, who is now the deputy governor. Now, the national the Northwest leadership of the party recognize that man as the acting chairman. But Oyegun has been playing some kind of hide and seek when it comes to, Kaduna matter. So Oyegun, as the national chairman, has contributed to festering the crisis in most of, this. So it is either the party decide to take Oyegun out and put their house in order, or have him and go to election in crisis.
Brings me to another angle to these laws of power. Lord, protect me from my friends, because I already know what to do to my enemies. The president needs more friends now
than enemies. You see, for the president to come up with the idea of reconciliation in the party, he knew things were not all right. He believed that, look, we must go for the election, whether I'm contesting or not contesting. It will not be ideal for us to go for the election with a divided house. Yes. That is the more reason the man came up with the idea of saying that, look, who do I call? Except we don't want to give honor to who honor is due. That somebody will now sit down and say that, look, Asiwaju didn't do anything to come up, for APC to come. The man knew what he did. And he sat down, he looked at it, he said, look, this is the person that I can talk to. Though, naturally, they didn't put him into the picture of some things in the party. After the government won and sat down. But the man looked at it that, look, for him to even go to the party secretariat to meet Oyegun, that he told that Oyegun must resign. Yeah. For him.
Tells you.
Yeah, that the man is taking it.
Well, at the home front.
Yes, home front, and we must do something about it.
Okay, then, the debate, very hot and fresh. should Buhari run for a second term? The debate is not over at this desk. We'll be back after this break. Then, welcome back. President Buhari tells APC governors, give me time to think about 2019. Gentlemen, a man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. I think we can play around with that phrase. Yeah. What type of a Nigeria is Buhari dreaming of? That Nigeria cannot be greater than his ambition. So he's looking at that picture, and so in asking that he runs a second term, so many things will be have to be put on the table.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Is a dream possible?
The Nigerian of his dream.
Yes.
Yeah, the Nigerian of his dream is possible. The Nigerian of the president's dream is a Nigeria that is that is self-sufficient in agriculture. The president believes that we must kill what we eat. And that's also my belief. I've said repeatedly that the greatest achievement of this administration is in the agriculture sector. I hear people say, oh, Boko Haram, the achievement of the administration in the war against terror are largely exaggerated. But in the area of agriculture, I can see concrete signs. The only regret that I have is that you look at a state like Kebbi, where every young man dreams of owning his own rice farm. But because of the high cost of petrol, they are finding it difficult to wet their rice farms because you use generator.
Manual,
yes.
Instead of
this is dry season.
Yeah,
you use use generator.
Irrigation has gone, 21st century.
No, so but they are struggling to buy petrol to power the generator, the pumping machines, to enable them to wet their rice farm. So that is a problem. It has kind of set us back. But no one can deny that we are producing more rice at this time than before. No one can deny that our import bill has gone down as a result of greater accent placed on agriculture.
I hear, but we must work on quality rice production.
Yes, there are some fantastic integrated rice farms now that even if you see the rice that they produce, or if they do not tell you that this is Nigerian rice, you will not believe.
Okay.
Olam, all of them, even the packaging is excellent. The packaging of lake rice, for example, that they bring here is excellent. They've done so much work. You will not find stone in it. So it is the local farmers who need now to up their game. I was coming back from Taraba, and when I got to Bali, I decided to buy rice, the local rice. Very heavy, it's heavier than 50 kg, but they will sell it to you as 50 kg. Okay. They just get a bag somewhere, a jute bag, and then pour rice into it. Once it's filled to the brim, they seal it and sell it to you like, oh, it's a bag. They sell it at like 12,000 naira. But it's actually around 60 kg. They have no means of measuring it. So agriculture has received a lot of impetus under this administration with especially the CBN and co-borrowers program that has taken in more than 300 farmers across the country. Yeah. That is one legacy that I think that Buhari has been able to give us during his first term.
All right.
We can argue about other things, but in my view, that's his best achievement, and that's the Nigeria.
Whatever you say here is your personal opinion.
That's what I said in my view. That's what I said in my view.
Yeah. Obu is here in Lagos. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah. Salam alaikum to the panel.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Baba Jai, happy to see you.
I greet you.
Okay, my contribution, I go straight. Yeah, for the president, Muhammad Buhari, in as much as he may not have done much to the expectation of some people, but I still and sincerely believe with the other positions springing up, there are no alternatives to President Muhammad Buhari. That is my belief. No alternative to him
All
for
right.
now. Then when it comes to APC national chairman, honestly speaking, I sincerely and seriously believe that the present chairman has not gotten what it takes to be the chairman of APC at
Okay.
that time. So I strongly
Obi, you-
align myself with the second
Speaker here.
idea.
Okay.
Clap on the head. That if APC wants to get it right, they better lay him up.
All right.
Otherwise, it's not good to go into the
Again, a personal opinion. Thank you. Ishmael, so politics, high wire politics now. But let's tear the bag further. The APC has not had a convention in nearly 3 years.
Yes.
It's a minus for the party.
A serious one, a big one.
Yeah.
A big one.
So the chairman is...
But in that case, we will not blame the chairman alone, because don't
okay.
forget, at some point, they also blamed it on the president's head. For a very long time,
Okay.
they kept postponing, At some point, they even met with the then acting president, Professor Oshibajo, to see if the meeting could hold. They were planning for it when suddenly the president returned, and since then, they have gone back. But you see, the thing is, whether they have had convention or not, I agree it's a big minus, but the chairman, has he shown leadership so far? We should ask ourselves. Because if you look at the role he played in the Ondo primaries and several other states where APC have had crisis in the past, you tend to begin to wonder if APC is being run different from the way PDP of the past was run, which all of us were complaining of. But for the type of person of the Borno State governor, the party almost rubbished him over the Anambra primary election.
Yeah.
This was a primary election that was televised live. Everybody saw what happened. But some of the leadership of the party were compromised. They collected money, and they almost wanted to upturn the result of the election. But the man stood and said, look, you cannot rubbish me, because the man confided in some of us that at some point he was asked to name his prize. And he told them that, look, for goodness sake, what will you want to give to me to entice me, at this stage of my life, at that level. But you see, for them to approach the man, it shows you the desperation of some. And the man said, look.
It happened to Suswam too.
And the man said, look, if you have this kind of money and you claim to be popular, come and spend it in Anambra, you win the election. If you win the election, I bet you I will ensure nobody upturns it. And if you lose, I will also ensure that
nobody imposes you on the people.
Nobody imposes you on the people.
Yeah, Bola, again, ambition. 26 governors going to Mr. President. I hear inside a week twice. It goes beyond asking him to run.
Yes. Maybe they also discuss the situation in the party. Also remember that a PDP governor, I don't know, maybe a Abia governor or somebody, went to the presidency and told the president, he came out, he said, he said the president should contest. It's surprising.
And so we are wondering.
I start wondering, what is happening? This man is from another party.
Yeah, so what is the game here? All right, I have Peter here. Peter, good evening, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones and everybody in the studio. My name is Peter. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, then.
Yeah, my point on the subject matter will be on the economy of this very administration. Babajide was telling us about the rate rise, how he bought it. I want to ask Babajide, please, where can I buy the rake rice? Because the last time I bought my own rice about a week ago, I still buy for 18,000 naira, and he's telling us that rake rice is being sold for how much? I don't know what he's saying.
No,
You didn't name prices.
I was talking about barley. Where I
He didn't
bought
talk
Taraba.
about lake
In
price.
Taraba.
He never talked about lake
The only time I
rice.
mentioned lake rice was in the packaging. I said it's well packaged.
He said it was packaged very well, and he bought it when he was coming from a particular place.
No, I bought
Northern
rice
Nigeria.
in Bali. You watch it at 11. You hear what I said. I
11.
bought rice in Bali from the local rice farmers. Now we were talking about quality of packaging, and we are saying that for some rice produced in Nigeria, if you were not told that it's not imported rice, you will not know. Then I mentioned Olam, for example, and then lake rice. In terms of the packaging, it's good enough. Good enough.
Peter and other viewers would realize that listening is an art.
Yes.
It pays to listen properly so that we be on
I don't misquote
sync.
Babajide.
Okay then, fuel scarcity and queues are much more like a way of life in a checkered environment for years on end, and may not be about to end. This is what is coming from the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachukwu. He announced the terrifying news after leading Pengassan and Nupeng executives away from a meeting with Mr. President and substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources, Muhammadu Buhari. Fuel scarcity, Ibe Kachukwu insists, may persist for 2 or more months. Government is thinking strategically. Did they tear the bad? Thinking strategically.
He has to tell us how they are thinking strategically. I don't see how it can end in 2 months from what I've seen. What the NNPC wants to be the only importer of the product, and they simply don't have the capacity that the marketers have. And the marketers are saying, we have bills that you have to pay. You are owing us over 800 billion subsidy.
Naira.
Subsidy, yes, 800 billion naira. Subsidy payments that the government has refused to honor. So, and they are saying, look, if you want us to come back, then pay these outstanding subsidy claims. When you pay, then we'll come back into the business. I can guarantee you, because of what I saw, especially during the Jonathan years, whenever we had fuel scarcity, usually over strikes by oil workers and all that, the moment is resolved within a short time, because the marketers have capacity, they will flood the nation with petrol. NNPC, how many tank farms do they even have? Tank farms of their own. They are actually storing petrol in other people's tank farms and all that. How many outlets do they have? All the NNPC outlets in Nigeria, retail outlets, they are just about 500. Whereas between Lagos and Ogun, independent marketers have up to 900 filling stations. What are we talking about? You don't have the capacity. You are supposed to concentrate on fixing our refineries. But as we have seen over the years, the NNPC, because it's a cesspool of corruption, has found it difficult to fix the refineries. The Senate just yesterday told Mekanti Baru and Kachukwu that they should forget about receiving $1.8 billion for so-called turnaround maintenance. Because turnaround maintenance has been an avenue to siphon money over the years. After turnaround maintenance, the refineries even get worse. Sometimes they catch fire shortly after turnaround maintenance. So the solution to this problem is get the marketers to come back to importing. If we don't want to pay subsidy, are you not paying subsidy now to NNPC? Okay. Because what they are simply doing is they are netting off.
All right. We'll take a slight pause there and return. This is a journalist hangout on TVC. Please don't go away. All right, no longer news that our oil, crude oil, is troubled. Ishmael, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, says, let me quote him, our strategy is that whatever is produced at the refineries will not go on sale, but would be kept in strategic reserve.
I don't know the logic behind that, because you have not eaten today, and so you want to reserve the food you have at home for tomorrow. What is the guarantee that you will survive till tomorrow? You understand? I think for me, Kachukwu appears to have learned the art of politics in Nigeria. You recall when
don't twist
polemics.
You know, you recall when he first came, he told us he wasn't a magician. And when he was taken on, he apologized and said that, okay, the thing will ease off. I recall by December last year, he told us that this fuel scarcity will ease off in 48 hours.
Yeah.
We are in February, almost entering March. Now he's telling us that it won't end soon. You can see...
That they are going to stop.
But he's talking about storing one in strategic reserve. So
the thing is, the question to even ask is, what is the level of production of the so-called refineries? The Kaduna refinery produced 53 million liters.
You understand?
That's nothing.
So the thing is,
in a whole year,
the president should do us one favor, and that favor, I have said it here before, and I want to repeat. That favor is he should answer off this petroleum ministry thing
and give them the free hand.
Give them, because we are finding it difficult to know who to blame. Honestly speaking, because if the president were not to be in charge, I'm sure we will know who to call to order. But when Kanti will tell you he has met with the president, this is what the president said. Kachukwu will come and tell us his own. If
you listen to what Kachukwu said on the floor of the Senate, he explained that the best thing is for these marketers to be encouraged to come back and start importing, that they are good at it. That is their own area of business, so the NPC can continue his own job of regulating the sector. Yeah, he said that. So if that decision has still not been taken, what it then means is that Kachukwu, Mekanti Baru and the president do not buy Kachukwu's ideas. That's simply the way it is.
Bolamani is, and I don't care if you give me a hypothetical reply, except for President Umar Yar'Adua and former President Jonathan. President Obasanjo was substantive minister of petroleum resources. Did we have these hassles? I don't know if you are on the same page with me.
Yes.
Does it matter who the minister of petroleum resources is?
Yes, it matters, my brother. It matters.
It does.
Let me tell you. You see, the minister of petroleum should be somebody that has the capability, the capacity to deal with the problems, multivarious problems that we have in the petroleum sector. Not only that, even if the president, supposing the president want to be the minister or want to retain that post, you see, the minister of state should be somebody that can take decision, that can be on top of the situation there, that can intervene. But in the case of Kachukwu, let me tell you one thing, I don't know what the man is doing there. Let's be realistic.
Yes.
You see, because somebody...
But have you also heard there's no provision for Minister of State for Petroleum Resources? Have you also heard that?
Yes, I've heard about that, but why?
You don't believe it is true?
No. Yes, with the situation at hand, my brother, with the situation at hand, I will, say that, and I will stand with that assertion. But the issue is, should we continue? Why is the man there? Why is he there? Where did he appoint him? When he was coming on board,
allow him to do the job.
Yes, when he was coming on board, I interviewed somebody, and the man told me that guy, Kachukwu, was the best person for the job.
Okay, for job of substantive minister of petroleum resources.
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to that. From Ogun State, we have, I hope I got it right, Jofus. Welcome, please. Joseph. Okay, I'm sorry for mangling your name. I'm sorry. Let's go.
I think this present government, it is high time they stop lying to Nigeria. Because if you follow things, this question of fuel, Kachuku came, told us another thing. This one came, told us another thing. This one came. They continue telling us series of things. Look at what he said now. When will all these things? I bought fuel 165 today. I bought 20 liters. And the people have been buying like that. The other day I went to Mobile. I bought 25 liters. It was like 15 liters. And I bought it at the rate of 160. They cut the meter. So please, they should tell our president, he should hands off that minister stuff. Give it to Kachuku. Kachuku is qualified to handle it, just as your brother, my brother there said. Let him give it to Kachuku. Kachuku is a young man. He has the brain. He can do the work. Our president is old. He cannot handle both presidents and this minister stuff. Please, they should stop telling us lies. They come to herdsmen, they will lie to us.
All right, Joseph, thank you. That's the beauty of democracy, freedom of expression. Nobody can stand in your way of free expression. It bears repeating that the whole thing about being minister, substantive minister of petroleum resources is a big deal. I hear the job of the minister of petroleum resources is administrative. You have lieutenants who can do the job. The running around. Yours is policy and all that.
Yes, it's just policy, strategy, and all that, and ensuring that your methods work, you know. And how do you ensure that your methods work? By supervising the people that have been placed in strategic areas. Even Mekanti Baru, despite spending all those years in NNPC, he cannot do the job alone. He still has to rely on other people. Like when Mekanti Baru said, look, we are going to flood the market with petrol. And that time in December, it didn't happen. Then he returned to saying that, oh, it's marketers who are holding. There's no way you can hold for 3 months. Now we are in the 3rd month of this scarcity now. So what do we say next?
All right. Ishmael, before we move over, let's quickly broach this subject matter. Kachuku says PIB passage is also key in determining. In 30 seconds?
Sorry to cut you.
But I'm quoting him.
Yes, you know, we agree that we need to sanitize that sector. But PIB or no PIB, they should not hang on to that.
Make the product available.
What has PIB got to do with availability of the products?
Okay.
I mean, it has not. There's no correlation. I agree we need to sanitize the sector, but please, they should make the products available. And the president must know that whatever happens with fuel now,
you can hurt his chances.
We also hurt his chances for tonight.
Yes.
Okay, then our business is to provoke these debates, and that's what we are doing. Don't think we are just being busy about nothing. Let's go to this one. The Chibok schoolgirls' abduction is 1,411 days going today, and the saga continues to leave acidic taste in the mouth. And now, the gripping Dapchi schoolgirls' abduction. In a population of 926 students, 815 we're told are accounted for, and a near 100 plus still missing. Are we dealing with an abduction or something more ominous, Jide?
This is a really perplexing situation. I imagine myself to be a parent of one of those kids. How will I feel now? The lives of those girls who were taken away in Chibok, the lives of a good number of them have been ruined. Turned to sex slaves, married to Boko Haram fighters, indoctrinated. Some of them now bear arms. Even some of those released will end up back in the forest. It has happened. Some of the people set free by soldiers, they continue to communicate with their husbands who are there on the war front, and some of them have gone back. So it's a terrible thing that now this has happened again, and extremely similar to what happened in Chibok. When it happened in Chibok, we felt, how could anybody bring trucks and load all of these girls? It's just not possible. How come that there was no response to distress call from Chibok. This has happened again. These guys operated in that school for about 3 hours. Initially what I thought was, oh, they just came to loot, because the first place they went to was the store, the food store.
Yeah.
I thought that they left those children alone, because again, there were stories here and there that, oh, nobody was taken. Look at the district head of Dapchi, who said nobody was abducted. His people booed him yesterday. And when people in northern Nigeria turn against their traditional ruler, it's very, very significant.
Good night.
They rarely do it. So now we don't even know how many guests are missing. If you listen to Alhaji Lai Mohammed yesterday, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know how many are
We
missing.
can only guesstimate. In a movie like Screenplay, Ishmael, no less than 18 gun trucks got to the village of Dapchi without interception. And so, is it offbeat to imagine this is an orchestration, Ishmael?
Well, what I think happened was from my interaction with the people on ground there. I think our security over-relaxed. You know, for a very long time, the concentration was on Borno. And Yobe probably, and those who are supposed to take charge of security situation went to sleep, because I understand that they actually move into the school in army uniform, in army vehicles, the same way in Chibok, and they even told the children, they were the ones calling the children to come out, that they want to help rescue them, and so that was why, you know, the student ran.
They walk into the trap.
Into the trap. Now, unlike that of Chibok, because that of Chibok, there was information of the attack, impending attack, before it happened. But this one, nobody knew anything.
But to have left a school like that unprotected.
That is what I'm saying, that the security over-relaxed.
Yeah.
They over-relaxed.
Let me say something.
Everybody went to sleep.
Hold on.
Did they, yeah?
Even if the Chibok, that school in Chibok that was raided, they had soldiers. They had no less than 16 soldiers.
Were they overpowered?
They were overpowered.
No.
It depends. Let me tell you.
No, the Chibok, the soldiers ran away. It was only the police.
Hold on. Let me explain.
Who stood?
Let me explain. What happened in Sasawa? Boko Haram invaded an army base, killed 18 soldiers, and took away gun trucks and other weapons. When you are faced with a situation, because over Chibok I interacted with a soldier who told me, look, people just blame us. These guys came with about 400 fighters, each of them carrying the same weapon that our soldiers were carrying. The best weapon is AK-47. Some of the Boko Haram guys had rocket-propelled grenades. Some of them had anti-aircraft guns. Who is that soldier who will wait for an anti-aircraft gun? That is the thing. You can actually protect the school, but if they come with strength in numbers, honestly, citizen, they will not. They will overpower the soldiers and take those guys away.
And then, of course, the element of surprise, Bola. But I'm looking at a totally different angle to this story. Bola, a headache, we are told, is not an ailment. It is a sign that something is wrong in the body. So when you cure the headache, you are curing the effect. Couldn't we have cured the cause? Boko Haram started from very humble beginnings, like play, as they say. Today we are saddled with it.
Okay. On a personal note, you see, few days before the attack on Dapchi, a national newspaper, on their front page, they carried it. It was published that the Boko Haram people have moved from Sambisa forest to the fringe of some local government, living in some communities. They even said that the so-called Shekau with 9 lives is among the people.
Now 10.
10
lives.
There are moves from one community to the other. Okay, now, let's now look at it again, my brother. You see, where those people are staying, the Boko Haram people are staying, My brother, they move along a community before attacking that school. Oh. No intelligence gathering, no nothing. Nobody said, look, oh, some people are coming. And not only that, they will go with their machines, motorcycles, mounted vehicles and things like that. You see, look, to be honest, the person handling the theater command, the governor said it that in less than 2 weeks, what that man did was something else that he did well, more than anybody. That the person that left there didn't know anything.
That's the Borno governor.
Yes, the Borno governor. He came out to say that. You see, the issue is that I will continue to say it. The national architecture, we must do something about the issue of national architecture. That in this country, it's not possible for us to look for a national architecture that, look, we can significantly say that, okay, enemy are moving from one country into our country, our territory, and we go there and deal with them. Like the case of when Buhari was in power, when he was GOC of Kaduna or what, when there was problem, Cameroonians were moving to he went there, he dealt with them, he put them away. That means we cannot do the same thing now.
Chadians.
The Chadians. He went there, he dealt with them, he put them away.
Third division.
It was GOC third division there. That means we cannot be replicating that. Now, you see, my brother, the level we are going, one day will come. If we fail to tackle this issue of Boko Haram with the commitment that we desire to do it. Okay, if it happens to be one of the parents of those children, that means I will come here and start talking this grammar today. Nobody will come here, somebody will say that that man is mad. We saw people crying. Okay, terrible. A child, a girl said, look, for her to go back to that school, that means Burantai will be at the gate, will be the one manning the gate.
Ishmael, in the course of talking and discussing Boko Haram, a governor in this country told a startled country that the whole Boko Haram thing was a hoax. And coming from that mountaintop is bound to sway many a mind.
I think part of the problem we had at the beginning of our fight against Boko Haram was that it was highly politicized, to the extent that people find it difficult to differentiate from the real Boko Haram and the ones being propelled by politicians. I agree.
No,
that
propelled by politicians?
Yes, at some point, politicians were using Boko Haram as
you are educating me.
Yes, I will give you an instance. In December 2011, I hope I got it right, yes, 2011, around 2011, I can't remember the month now,
okay, then.
There was a local government election in Kaduna. As at that time, Namadi Sambu was already vice president, and Yakuwa was the sitting governor in Kaduna. Now, Kaduna North local government, it's a CPC's stronghold, very strong one. And so in that election, even if PDP manages to rig all the 22 other local governments, they'll find it difficult. If they try anything with Kaduna North, there will be bloodshed. Now, on the day after the election, they had announced all results but one, leaving that of Kaduna North.
Okay.
I left Kaduna that evening for Abuja. So one of my reporters now filed a story. And what did the story say? The story said that Boko Haram threatened to unleash attack on Kaduna if a particular party does not win a particular local government. At first, I didn't read any meaning to that story. I allowed the story to pass. I allowed it to go to Lagos. But when by evening they had not released that result, and now I now started wondering, is it possible that PDP wants to seize that local government by force? And if there's crisis, they will now say it's Boko Haram. And then called that reporter. I said, come, who was your source? He told me the source. The source happened to be one of the aides of the governor. And I called the information commissioner. I had to blackmail the information commissioner. I said, you people want to rig Kaduna North local government election. And if there is crisis, you now blame it on Boko Haram. He said, no. I said, but they said that you people had security meeting and that there was a report that the Boko Haram was threatening to strike. He said, no, that there was nothing like that. I quickly called Lagos. I asked my editor to drop that story, that this is my findings. Now, to cut a long story short, less than 1 hour after my interaction with that commissioner, they released the result of that local government election.
Who won?
CPC. And the truth is that if they had announced PDP as the winner, there would have been bloodshed. So and eventually, government will now blame it on Boko Haram. So,
which is what you meant by political Boko Haram.
Exactly.
Okay.
You understand what you know. So at that point, people were not really eager. And I also interacted with government to the extent that I realized that before now, government did not demonstrate any seriousness to fight Boko Haram. The only time the seriousness was demonstrated was that period we had a shift.
Sorry, let me quickly take our last but not the least caller here. Obi is reaching us from Abuja. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Good evening, gentlemen.
How do you do?
Good evening.
I'm fine.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay. The issue of these insurgents, and I want to ask the government, why for the every day there is adoption, they will first debate whether it's true or not, which is very bad. I want to state it, that if there is adoption, even though it's a single person, let's take it serious for one. Okay, see, over 50 girls or 50 pupils of that school are missing. Why? Before they will first debate whether it's true or not. Yeah. It's not done in other places. Please, let our government sit up. Do something that is good to protect the citizens and life.
Obi, we are on the same page with you, gentlemen. Okay. So how do we begin to go, taking it from the top?
You see, strategically, as I said, we must look at the issue of intelligence gathering. You see, look, we cannot have the soldiers everywhere, but the soldiers must come up, and the state government must equally, be in sync with that. They should be able at least to plant some people, paid people in the communities around those areas. These people should be able to say, this is
intelligence.
What, yes. Then these people should be able to relay this intelligence to the soldiers, and the soldiers should be able to take actions. Whether, the commander of, the theater commander or whatever, you see, they should be able to do something.
Okay.
Not only that, you see, look, I will continue to...
Please. We need to go, Ishmael, quickly.
Yes, I think government must not relax. Our security, agencies must be up and doing. Because like I said, I believe even if they would have been overpowered, there should have been some semblance of security. We are over-relaxed because of the successes that was recorded over the fight. I think we must redouble our efforts to ensure that these people are rooted out of our communities.
Okay.
I wish the government good luck in finding the guests. I won't say more than this.
Okay then. Well, that will just about do it. But let me thank my guest, Bola Olajuwon. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ishmael, I greet you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Jide, thank you for your time. Mine is very short. I want to share this with Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief. Law 5 of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power says, inter alia, so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Bye-bye now. This program is taking a rest for the week, but then join us at 11 tonight to have a repeat broadcast of this particular edition. And the program is on other platforms showing on your screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care of your weekend.